Flosstube, it's Amy, also known as Aussie Stitcher in Texas, here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I'm here with you today on this December 17th with my end of year WIP parade. I haven't done one since about mid-January of last year, and timing wise with vacation and everything coming up, today was the best day for me to do it. So I'm actually going to go through all the current WIPs that I have and also my finishes that I've done this year, because I don't have a ton of WIPs and a ton of finishes. I think this will still be a really good timed video. It won't be too long. But let's get into it. For anybody who has not watched my videos before, I know WIP parades are where people watch a lot of new content and find new Flosstubers. I hope that you like what you see and that you stick around. If everybody could give me a like for this video, that would really appreciate it. And if you want to stick around, you can subscribe to my channel. I do post monthly videos, so you get kind of like at the beginning of the month, everything I did the month previous. So my December update will be happening at the end of the year. But I hope everybody is getting ready for the holiday season if you celebrate this time of year. I personally do. I love Christmas. I don't decorate only because I don't like undecorating, if that makes sense. I also only have a one-bedroom apartment, so having a lot of stuff just isn't possible for me. But I do love Christmas. My family has always done Christmas really big. My mom absolutely loved Christmas. So it is a very nostalgic time for me. If anybody is new here, I'll do a quick introduction. Like I said, my name's Amy. I grew up in Australia, but I do currently live in the United States, in Texas to be precise. I do love it here. I went back to Australia last year and it kind of made me realize how much things have changed and how much I've changed, but I really do love living in Texas. The summers could be a little bit more bearable, but you know, that is what it is. There's more benefits that outweigh the summertime that is, you know, if you're a Celsius person, I mean, it feels like it's 40 degrees all day, every day, which I think was the struggle for me, not getting a cool breeze come through at night to wipe out the heat. And if you're a Fahrenheit person, that's, you know, probably high 90s, hundreds frequently in the summer. But let's start with my finishes. If you don't want to watch the finishes and you want to get to the WIP parade, I'll try to figure out how to put a timestamp in to just jump you ahead. But I don't have a whole lot of finishes. I finished 11 projects in 2023. Some of them I have, some of them I've gifted. And then if I do have photos of the gifted products, I will put them up. And if I don't, I'm sorry. But the first one, I actually don't have a a photo. I've gifted it and I forgot to take a photo or a video of it. But the first one I finished in, it was actually on the 1st of February, was Tequila by Stitcherovia. I will throw up a photo of just a mock-up from her website. I finished this, like I said, on February 1st, and I gifted it to a friend. I did this on a 28 count Monaco that I just dyed like a light tan color. That I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I used all the called for, and like I said, I gave that to a friend of mine. If I'm looking down, it's my notes that I keep. Next up, I'm actually doing this in reverse order. Give me 1 second. I piled these all incorrectly. So my pile of finishes, it was a little bit rough with. Okay, the next piece, sorry, that I finished was Autumn by the Cricket Collection. Here it is. This is on also a 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself. I just picked this up from Michael's, literally cut it in half and then dyed it with some like tans and oranges. And I am doing I did all the called for here, with the exception of I subbed out the silken colors for the alternate DMC that they give you, because I was not paying $8 for it's just in the leaves. I think it would be different if it was the letters, but it was just the leaves, and you know, $8 was a little extravagant for me for that. And I even did French knots. He's got 2 different sized eyes, but I'm pretty damn proud of myself. This was great to stitch. The colors, the letters are all kind of a color each, so it was nice to just kind of get some block stitching in. Not really any confetti. It was great. The only other change I made was the hat for the pumpkin. I did in a toile. You can kind of see the shimmer there, but everything else called for. Just wanted a little bit of sparkle. So that is Autumn by the Cricket Collection, finished on March 17th. I started it on October 23rd of 2022. Next up on the other piece of Monaco that I dyed myself is the Nutcracker Parade by the Frosted Pumpkin. Again, this is using all the called for. I dyed this myself as well. That other half of 28 count Monaco made me realize the only reason I don't love 28 count Monaco is just the amount of floss it goes through in comparison to the higher counts. But all called for. I started this on February 12th of 2023 and finished it on May 6th. I had a couple of months where I just did not want to put this down. It's so cute. All the little people. Oh, do I not have? Oh, I do. I was going to say, it doesn't look like they have smiles, but because it's like a light pink, it's not as obvious as the ballerina girl. Okay. So that is finish number 3. So I'm just throwing these on the counter behind it. Next up is my Garden Prelude, which of course I left over there. So give me 1 second to go and pick it up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I will cut all of that shuffling out. But my next up is Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. I started this on January 17th of 2022 and finished it on May 19th of 2023. And this is an FFO, so she's fully finished. And here she is. Let's stop the glare of my overhead lights. So this is on a 32 count lugana in the color Loki by Fabrics by Stephanie. I have used all the called for. There's Karen water lilies in there, in the flowers, and then the rest is DMC. I have done all the called for beads, but here she is. If anybody is doing this chart and wonders, do I need the Karen water lilies? I personally don't think you do. They're just in the flowers. It would be one thing, again, I think if it was in the dress or in the ribbons of her dress, something just where it's more. But I personally, it's 2 Karen water lilies as well. And I've got almost the whole skein left because it's just in some of these like flowers and then down here a little bit. So that's just my personal opinion. If you can find a good substitute that's not $8 or $9, go for it. But that is Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. As I hope I don't fall, please. Okay, next up is my first full coverage finish by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Faces of Fairy 201 by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Here she is. I'm struggling to get her fully ironed. I just keep plugging away at it. This is on a 32 count easy guide that I have washed. So the easy guide has been taken out using 2/2. All the called for DMC. I did sup in Anchor Black though, just to give Anchor Black a try. And you would not believe, like the confetti that was in this crown was insane, and kind of in the bauble thing where the swan is, but oh my God, it's absolutely beautiful. Stunning. I really like it. Okay. Oh, that I should say. So I started that on November 26th of 2021 and finished it on June 20th of 2023. So about 1.5 years that took. And that's really only because I made it a goal to finish. I just figured out how many it would take me per month to finish it. It was supposed to be by the end of this year, but I had a couple of months where I just went gangbusters and finished it earlier. Next up is Awesome Myth by Stitchrovia. I started this on May 7th of 2023 and finished it on August 5th of 2023. And I have fully finished it just in a little frame. I am planning on gifting this to somebody. This is on a 40 count, which is why it's so small. 40 count Verdal by Picture This Plus. No, BeStitchMe in the color Sand Dollar. And it's so, like, if you look at the size of my hand, that's what it is. It's so cute. I love it. And fits, this is a 6x8. So not a completely standard sized frame, but not a crazy hard to find frame. Next up is my Bella Filipina. Now I don't have I've gifted this as well, but I do have a video which hopefully I'll figure out how to insert here now for you. And I completed this on September 23rd of 2023. This was my new year, new start for this year. So I started at January 22nd of 2023. And you know what, I finished it fast. When my friend said that she wanted to give it to her sister-in-law who loves mermaids, I kind of really went ahead to do it by her birthday. I just missed the birthday, but still I got it within the month of her birthday. It was on a 32 count lugana in the color Circe by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I used all the called for DMC, Karen Water lilies. Another one where I don't think I would do the Karen Water, like buy them again. I have them, so if I do stitch this piece again for myself, I'll use the Karen Water lilies because I have them. But I did sub out a lot of the a lot of the beads for Krynic and Petite Treasure braid. I don't love to bead, so I thought I would give it a try to use a metallic floss instead of the beads, and I do really like how it turned out. So almost all the beads were subbed out for Krynic or Petite Treasure braid, and I did sub out one of the Krynics for Treasure braid just because I had pretty much the same color. So I thought, why would I buy the Krynic when I have a good substitution on hand? But that's the Maiden of Tipitaha, I think. If not, I apologize for butchering that. Next up was a year-long stitch-along by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is the Dark Queen of the Earth. I started this on September 3rd of 2023. Oh, she's upside down. And finished it, started on September 3rd of 2022 and finished it on September 28th of 2023. So here she is in all her glory. This is a 32 count linen by Under the Sea Fabrics in the color Nightshade. And she is beaded. I did remove some of the beads around those orbs because again, like I said, don't love to bead. But she is, I mean, this is a fat quarter and she's, she took it all. Very nice. Okay. That used DMC and Petite Treasure braid, Rainbow Gallery, Silk Lame as well. Not sure how I'll fully finish her, but right now she just hangs up. Next up was actually a project I highly considered UFOing, but then kind of told myself I had less than 100, well, I had, I think about 101 or 120 stitches left to just finish it out. And that is the Ursula Crest by Atomic Tiki Pins. I don't know what it was with this. I started it on May 5th of 2022, finished it on October 18th of 2023. I don't know, I think it was the back stitching that made me just begin to really hate this piece. Nothing against the designer in any way. I don't think the back stitch, like, can you tell that there's back stitching all in that shell? No. The eels, I mean, you can around their eyes, obviously, and kind of around the mouth, but there's back stitching all over the place in those eels, and you couldn't see it, so it was frustrating me. So I told myself, I said, Amy, just finish the stitching and don't do the back stitching, obviously, other than the sea witch down here. Obviously, it needed that, but like the back stitching around the hair, around the, what is it, like seaweed, kind of around the tridents, just don't do it if it's annoying you that much. So I didn't, but got it finished. And now I have, because I have more crests, I have a giant piece of black lugana to do that, which I'm not sure if I'll do those or not, but that's fine. Okay, next up is another full coverage. This is my Visit Lothlorien by Country Magic Stitch. I started this on September 10th of 2022 and finished it on November 4th of 2023. So this is a full coverage on a 28 count Monaco. Again, just eating floss, but thankfully it's just DMC, so it's not bad. I really like this. I'm working on another Country Magic Stitch piece, which I'll show you in my WIP parade. but you know, it was a lot of fun, lots of blocks, so good like mindless stitching. And this was another one where I wanted it done by the end of the year, so figured out how many I needed per month and just went to town. So that is that one. And then my last finish of the year was another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is Maple Lane. And I started this on May 12th of 2023, and finished it on November 22nd of 2023. Let me bring it in closer. This is on a 32 count lugana in the color Proserpina by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I did a very good job of doing like a top left hand start. So I've, you know, not wasted fabric. It's so cute. This is using all the called for DMC. I didn't use the fancy floss. I just used what I had in stash. And I am so proud of myself that my only mistake, if you want to call it that, which I mean, I suppose it is this, it's either the P or the L is like a half a stitch over too far, which I figured out when I was up to the E or something like that. And it didn't make it so that like anything was bumping into each other. So I just left it. There was no point frogging out 2 or 3 letters just to move it over half a stitch when it wasn't causing any issues. I wasn't using it to count off other things, so it didn't throw anything else off. It's just these letters that are out and everything else is okay. So those are my finishes for 2023. I had 11. Not sure I'll be able to get as many in 2024 because I'm starting to do more bigger pieces, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of my finishes away, and then I will come back and we will get into the WIP parade. So I'll see everybody in, well, just a second for you, and then just a couple of minutes for me to tidy up a little bit. Okay, I am back. Now let's start the 2023 WIP parade. I currently have 12 works in progress. I might have a few more by the beginning of the year, but that's where I am at currently. And I'm going to show them in order of my oldest up until my newest piece. So let's jump into it. My first piece is by Northern Expression Needlework. It is the Twisted Band Sampler. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. Such beautiful colors. I started this on March 2nd of 2022. So it is an old piece, but I'm okay with that. And here's where we are. Oh, let me lean back. So I have the full length of it. So it's not getting any longer, thank goodness, because I don't have a lot of fabric left. But I only have about 5 colors left, I think. And I'm obviously on the parts where I am reducing in, you know, the bands get smaller and smaller. So this shouldn't take me too long to finish. Hopefully by this year is my plan. It is on my WIP Go board to finish a color at each time. This is a 28 count lugana in black that I just picked up from either 123 Stitch or the Fat Quarter Shop. And I am using the DMC, not the, I think it's Dinky Dyes is the other option, but so beautiful the way the colors flow from one to the other. So that is the Twisted Band Sampler, cross stitch version, not the specialty stitches. My skill set, I tried, I bought it, so I have it if I ever want to try again, but it just, I couldn't wrap my head around it, so I just moved on to the cross stitch version. Next up is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is Wicked Witchcraft. Here is what it will look like when it's finished. I started this on August 5th of 2022. And here is where I am at. This is a 32 count Jobelan in the color Naiad. It is the called for by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I did a middle start, so I've unfortunately wasted a lot of fabric, but you know, lesson learned. I am doing all the called for with the exception of this kind of greeny yellow. It's called for, I think, in 38.19. But I had a fancy floss from a Black Needle Society box. I think it's called Frog's Legs. That I thought I would use. It's in the candle and then over in the cauldron a bit. So I thought, you know, that little bit of variegation would be nice. And, you know, I need to use these fancy flosses. I can't just have them sit in my stash. I do get a little paranoid though if I don't know how many stitches is called for in the piece in that color. I'm hesitant to sub things out sometimes because I don't want to run out of the floss, because some of these are limited editions, can't get another. So I'm trying to kind of look and hopefully have a piece that's in Pattern Keeper that can tell me, oh, it's only 300 stitches. I know I have enough for 300 stitches kind of thing. So I can use these flosses, otherwise they're just gonna go to waste, you know? Next up is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. So there's now a big gap of my starts, probably because I finished what was in the middle. I started this on February 26th of 2023. So here, if you're not familiar, here's what it will look like when it's finished. I absolutely love this piece. I kind of resisted for a while because Quakers were just not my thing, I thought at the time. But as I have done this piece, I really like it and I kind of get it. You get that little kind of mini finish high whenever you finish a Quaker. So here is where we are at. I have the full length of it and the full width now. So I just finished this month these, so the bird, the flower, and then the owl motif. This is a 40 count Verdal in the color Tsunami by BeStitchMe. And I am doing all the called for classic colorworks. And then it calls for 310. I've done some 310, some sulky, some anchor black. I bought two different sulkies. I first bought one that was too thin. So I was doing 2/2. Yeah, 2/2, but it was driving me insane because it was so fine that I went and bought the proper sulky, which I stitched one motif in and realized it was just it looks too full in comparison to the other black. So then I went to anchor black that has just a little bit more coverage than the DMC. But my plan for this one is to finish it by September of 2024 so that I can have it finished and up for Halloween. Okay. Next up is Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Here's what it will look like. I started this on May 19th of 2023. I am doing this on a 32 count lugana in the color white opal. So it's opalescent, my first time using opalescent fabric, which you can hopefully see that sparkle. Here's where she's at. So I am almost finished with this. I only have about 1,100 stitches left, which will just fit down the bottom there. Another one that I probably could have started further over and had kind of like a whole long skinny piece, but I'm actually okay with it because it goes in the Q-snap so well. Like I don't have to worry about, you know, it being super tight on the margin in the Q-snap. So, you know, I'm fine with it. It's so pretty. I really like that. My plan, this is on my WIP Go as well for 2024. And because I only have, you know, just over 1,000 stitches left, the goal is to finish it when it gets called. Not fully finish it probably, but just finish the stitching. Okay, next up is Alternative Reality, which was a restart as well. So I did start this originally on May 21st of 2023 on a 25 count easy guide, doing 1/1 full cross. I didn't love that. I think from my own issues, which I'm trying to get past because I want to do more 25 count. So I restarted it on July 13th of 2023 on an 18 count Aida. So she's going to be big. She's not going to be a small girl. But this is by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So like I said, I am doing this on an 18 count, on an easy guide. She's big, so she takes me a minute to wrangle for you all. Sorry about this. Okay. So here's where we are. So I have the full length, the full width, I should say, not length. So I have all this over here. So it wasn't, again, the best for me because this is tight when it's in my Q-snap. Sometimes I have to put it in a nerd hoop if I'm just feeling too frustrated. And I am doing this in the Royal Rose method. And hopefully when I am done with this second row, so the first 4 rows, I can get rid of this at the top. And maybe I'll put it down the side to help me with my Q-snap. But 2 over 1 on 18 count. Like I said, I'm doing Royal Rose, and I think that was what I should have done on the 25 count. I was doing this stair-step method. As you can see, I am going a little bit rogue. If it'll help me like finish off a thread, or if I have like a little bit of thread on my needle that can see where it will go somewhere else, I'll put it in so that I just don't have trying to, just limit the amount of hanging threads without going too crazy. I think the problem with when I was doing the stair-step method on the 25 count is, some of this has confetti. It's a heaven and earth designs. It's gonna happen. So in one square, maybe there was 1 stitch, and that frustrated me to thread up my needle for 1 stitch and then park it. It just annoyed me. But with the Royal Rose method, maybe that 1 stitch becomes 3 stitches or becomes 6 stitches or something like that. So it just made it in my head a little bit just better and less of a waste of time, if you want to call it that. Because I don't want to be leaving ninja stitches, because then you've got to come back and then that frustration is still there. It's just at a later point in time. So I'm trying to mitigate that a bit by not having ninja stitches. And what I will do is I will only leave a ninja stitch as such is if it's kind of like the bottom 2 rows. There might only be 1 stitch and then there would be more down here. Or if it's in the next column. So let's say, I don't think I have one in this one. But let's just say one of these stitches was empty. It would only be empty because there would be a lot more in this column. So this is really working for me to, stop the ninja stitches, but still have stitching to do. And I love the colors over here, the purples and the reds and the oranges. And then you have, as you can tell by the amount of hanging threads, where all the confetti is. These little lights, the confetti in here was insane. Like if you looked at the back of this or felt like the difference in the thickness, it's insane. And then over here, right now for the moment, this was quite blocky, which was nice. But it's so pretty. I resisted this piece for a long time because, Josephine Wall, and you hear about the confetti with Josephine Wall pieces. But I was watching Teresa Little Stitcher and Holly the Cross Stitch Addict, and I bit the bullet and did it, and I have no regrets. It is just the normal chart. It's not the max color supersize or anything. So it has, I think, 89 or 90 colors. So it's not terrible. Like the confetti's there, but I try to manage that as best I can. So next up is another sal that I'm doing. It is the Castle Homecoming sal by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I don't have a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. We are up to part 8. I am not up to date. I'm up to date up for like 7. So I'm not the current part. Here's what it looks like. It's on a 32 count Valor linen by Picture This Plus. I am doing all the called for. And I think this might be a UFO. I'm just not loving it anymore. And I don't know if it's because at the moment I'm in the gray. And I don't like stitching gray, I have learned. There's just colors I don't like stitching in bulk. And gray and brown are 2 of them. I'm not loving it anymore. I'm just not loving it anymore. So I don't know. It might just be a UFO for now. It might just go into a timeout. We're up to part 8 of 12. So I might kind of see just how it goes. And if I want to finish it, I will. And if I don't, I don't know what I'll do. But sorry, I'm trying to look to where the lens is, and I keep looking at myself, which doesn't help anybody. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one. We will have to wait and see, I think. Okay, next up. Oh, that's not right. This one is. So this is the Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. This was a piece that everybody was doing, I feel like, at the beginning of last year. And every piece that I saw, I didn't like it at first. You know, that's the thing about cross stitch. Looking at something on a piece of paper is very different to seeing somebody actually working on it, even if it's through, you know, Flosstube. They just look so much better stitched than in a photo. So the photo didn't grab my attention, but people's stitching definitely did. So I eventually got it. This is the Fox. I should have held this up before. I love her. I am doing this using the called for with the DMC substitute. And here she is. I like that I've used the DMC substitute because I have seen a lot of people with the fancy floss. It's a lot more, at least the dye lot they seem to get was a lot more muted than the photo. And I like the vibrancy of the orange in the Fox from the DMC. Now this is, I've gone back and forth on this. I think I actually know what it is now. This linen was from a box, and I think it's Gunmetal by BeStitchMe. I don't know why I've been like hoarding the plastic that the fabrics come in when they get delivered to you, but I found to throw out it, and I found with the sticker on it. So that's what I think this is. But I think it looks great. And I do think it was a limited edition because when I went on her website, I could not find it. I think it's a 32 count. So pretty. Hopefully I will have her finished early next year is the plan. I started her, on August 22nd of 2023. I don't think I said the Castle Homecoming I started on June 6th. Next up is still in my hoop because I am working on it at the moment. This is the Pop-Up Bookstore by Soda Stitch. I started this on the 11th of September of this year, not 2024 like I wrote. But here is what it will look like. It is full coverage, so lots of stitches. It's a small piece, but full coverage. And I am doing this on a 40 count Verdal. That is the remnant of what I used for Awesome Myth. It is a 40 count Verdal in the color Sand Dollar. And she's still in my hoop. So here's where she's at. I have backstitched. I'm trying to backstitch as I go because there's so much backstitch. And I'm hoping to have the stitching finished today. I've only got about 100 and something stitches to go. And then if I can finish the backstitch today, great, but definitely the stitching. And she's so cute. Like the girl is completely backstitched, just a little bit of her hair over here. But her skirt, her feet, this little stool is coming together. I normally don't like backstitch because I just find it sometimes hard to read. And I feel like there's times where just because you can draw a line on a piece of paper doesn't mean there are holes to correspond where that should go. But this is very clear. It only ever, it's either, in one to the next, or if it goes over, two to the corner. So it's very clear, nothing crazy. It's so adorable. I absolutely love this. Working on her at the moment, using all the called for. It's just DMC, a lot of different DMC colors, but so it's just so amazing how detailed. So there's no stitching in this bookshelf yet, backstitch, but all the backstitching around here and here, like it's crazy what backstitch can do. So cool. So hoping to have her finished by the end of the year. Okay, what's next? So next up is the beginning of my obsession with Madame Chantilly and her celebration trays. The first up is Celebrate Halloween. here is what it will look like. I started this on September 27th. And here is what it looks like. Here's where we're at. So let me fold this in half so it's a little bit closer for you. So I am doing this on a 40 count Verdal. I have a lot of Verdal. I'm in BeStitchMe's Fabric of the Month. This is the color Bronze Age. And I'm doing all the called for DMC. I did sub out, I made the witch, which you can kind of see, a black étoile. She's called for in 3371, but I wanted to do her in the black étoile, which doesn't make sense that then her shoe, but maybe that's somebody else's shoe, is 3371. Lots of block in this. The top tray is completely done. The middle tray has, I think, that pumpkin and maybe one other pumpkin. But this stitches up so fast. And I am going to do all the seasons. I also have Christmas and then Halloween as well. Okay, we're just throwing things over there. Next up is my other Hive that I have. This is Faces of Fairy 193. So the companion piece to my finish from earlier. Here is what she'll look like. This is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And it's the White Swan. This one I decided to do on 16 count Aida. So I did the other one on 32 count 2/2. So I'm doing this on 16 count 2/1. So it'll be the same size. I just thought the Aida would be easier. And here's where we're at. She's still in a Q-snap. I'm not actively working on her at the moment, but she's in a good spot that I just don't have to move the Q-snap yet. And I'm fine leaving it on there. I've got, the tension off and it's not on any stitching at the moment. So until I need to move it, I'm just going to leave her as is. This I'm also doing in the Royal Rose, again with my little bit of going rogue to finish off a thread. But I'm doing this page by page, is the plan anyway, versus alternative reality where I'm kind of going like a typewriter. So I'll go all the way to the end and then come back and all the way to the end. This one I thought I'd do a little bit differently. So I'm going page by page. And the first page finishes kind of around here. But this is the width of the page. I'm trying to do a little bit of feathering to make sure I don't have the kind of like harsh lines that you can sometimes get. I started this one on October 29th of 2023. Next up is my other Madame Chantilly tray that I have. This is Celebrate Christmas. I was feeling Christmassy because 'tis the season. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. This is another 40 count Verdal in the color Boneyard by BeStitchMe. I do have a hanging thread just because of the tray and where I'm at the moment. Sorry, just trying to make this. Okay, here we go. So the top tray is done. I'm using all the called for. I have subbed out some of the white for a toile just to give it a little bit of sparkle. So I did the mug on this side, the joy, where it says joy. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with this? There we go. Again, these stitch up crazy quick, at least for me. There we go, there's the light better. So top tray completely done, I think, I'm pretty sure. And then working my way down. So pretty. Steady, I don't want things to fall. I started that on November 18th of 2023. My final WIP, so we're up to the end. Thank you for sticking around, everybody. This is my Country Magic Stitch Visit Narnia. Here's what it will look like. I started this on December 5th of this year, so just a couple of weeks ago. Now I have kind of two starts on this because I wanted to try tent stitch. So first off, I'll show you the tent stitch. Oh, that's the back. That's not going to help anybody. So here's the 10th stitch. Forgive the hanging threads. This is a 28 count 1/1. Well, 10th stitch, 2/1. Yeah, 2/1, 10th stitch. And I mean, it doesn't help that this is white and then there's white. So starting probably wasn't the best idea. I should have used an ivory or just dyed this a beige or something to help me, but I was struggling big time. And I know myself, if I can't sit down and just stitch and get a lot of stitches in, unless it's, you know, heavy confetti, something's wrong. But this is 10th stitch. I wasn't loving it. Is this the 10th stitch? Yes. I was struggling to like figure out where I was. When it was kind of in the block, it was okay. But when I started getting down here, I was struggling to figure out where I was. So I was like, okay, let's try flipping it to 1/1 full cross. And I'm much happier. So as you can see, I've also done a lot more. So I just flipped the fabric. So there's the 10th stitch. So you can see down here, this is about 400 and something stitches. And this is, how many though? 2, 4, 6, maybe 800 or 900 stitches. And I'm just so much happier. This was an experiment because I want to do another Heaven and Earth designs that is massive. It's about not 400,000 stitches, but not far from it. And I thought, well, 10th stitch might be, you know, get it done faster. And then I can do 2 strands and do the loop start, but I just didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Those of you who can do 10th stitch, you know, tell me if there's a secret that I'm missing, because yeah, I just wasn't loving it. So when I do start that Heaven and Earth designs, I'm going to do 1/1 full cross, and then it just takes as long as it takes. I did love that 10th stitch went, you know, hundreds plus stitches in 20 minutes, but it just wasn't for me. I wasn't liking it. So I knew if I don't like it, I'm not going to work on it, and then what's the point, you know? So, but if there is a secret to it, definitely let me know. But those are all my WIPs for 2023 and all my finishes of 2023. Thank you so much, everybody who watched this video. I really appreciate it. If you could give me a like, that would be great. If you want to subscribe, that is also great. Like I said, I do updates once a month. So I'll be back at either the end of either December 31st, probably January 1st, to show you basically what I've stitched on between now and the end of the year, because some of those pieces you've already seen in this WIP braid. But thank you so much. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I hope that you have a fantastic holiday season and that, you know, times are good, that the weather is good where you are, that it behaves itself, it doesn't cause any issues during Christmas time traveling. I'm traveling for Christmas, so I am hoping that there are no issues at the airport and things like that. But again, thank you, Merry Christmas, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.